So today I'm teaming up a spicy cactus with a troublesome tumbleweed, both from Outlaws at Thunder Junction, for a very fun deck, flinging and attacking your way to some big wins. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today I am determined to kill my opponents with a tumbleweed and a spiky little cactus mini combo with some great gameplay footage of this janky duo in action. Firstly though, if you'd all be so kind as to drop a like on the video and subscribe below, and also stay tuned as during this video I've got some free untapped.gg premium monthly passes to give out, and I'll tell you how you could get your hands on one. Onto this deck though, and I've been blasting through the ladder today with this little crazy cactus concoction. So Cactusfolk Sureshot is a 4/4 4-drop with reach on Ward 2 that says at the beginning of combat on your turn, other creatures you control with power 4 or greater gain trample and haste until end of turn. Drop this, slam some chunky threats for some huge damage to your opponents, and they better have answers for this card. The other card I'm determined to play today is Tumbleweed Rising. I don't know how good this card is, but on the face of it, in the right deck, I think it can work pretty well. It's a 2-cost sorcery with plot 3 that creates an XX creature token where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Ideally, playing this for 0 late in the game is going to get you a large creature, and the cactus can give it haste and trample. It's so very cheap, I just really can't see it not working today. So to supplement these cards and our aggressive nature of this deck, I've got Terror of the Peaks, Anzrag and Brawlers. All get haste with your cactus, and played in the correct order, you can make a 16 powered mole from your rhino, with your dragon doing 16 to your opponent's face, or have your cactus give it haste. Only in MagicTheGathering does that come close to making any kind of sense. Other creatures include 1-drops in Evolving Adaptive and the ever so fantastic Goldvein Hydra. I do love playing these as early as turn 2 or 3. They almost die quickly, netting you treasures to then drop 4 or 5 drops early on. And I'm running Thrillseekers too. Without your cactus, you can straight up fling a massive creature for some huge damage. And as we're not playing any removal today, you can use it in conjunction with maybe a Hydra to net several treasures and then take out that pesky Shelly that's blocking your way. We've got Gwenna, Ruby and Loamspeakers for some urgent ramp. They clog up the board early on and draw out removal spells, but left unchecked allow us to play some massive Hydras or quickly plot those rhinos. I have a hefty 26 lands today to not miss any land drops, and that is the deck. So this one is great. The Sureshot works brilliantly with all sorts of creatures, and in these colours you can pretty much pick whatever you want. Don't discount the humble tumbleweed though. I've always felt it's a massive threat in our deck today, so plot them early and jam late for some huge damage. Stay tuned to the end when I'll go over the stats and general thoughts I have on this deck. And don't forget to like and subscribe, sit back, grab a cup of tea and watch some gameplay footage with this spicy brew powered by an unlikely cactus hero. Alright then, on the play, and quite a slow hand for us here, but definitely a keeper I would think. Don't have anything to do to turn 3, but if we can get this Brawler and Terror of the Peaks down, that is going to be GG's for our opponent, I would presume. So let's see what we can do here as they lead off with an Ashnod. Okay, and we find a Hydra. Now, I have no qualms in playing this as a 1/1. When this one dies, you gain a treasure. So we'll just hold it back for the minute, because I can Thrillseeker onto it potentially next turn, make it a 3/3. Then when that dies, gain 3 treasures. We'll see how this one goes though. Ramping us into our 5 drops, we find Sokenzan. So yeah, Thrillseeker, not the way I really want to be playing this card, but making a 3/3 and please block opponent, please block. Yeah, they definitely block. They go down to 18, we gain 3 treasures. Next turn we get to play one of our 5 drops and have a load of mana still open, so yeah, going quite well for us here. I absolutely love this Goldvein Hydra. Trying to put it in a lot of my decks. Plotting the Brawler here as we find another Terror at the Peaks. So definitely not how I expected the game to go. I was hoping to get some cactus on the battlefield and start smashing with Terrors and Railway Brawlers, but we're going to get a decent turn next turn. Obviously they're playing Rakdos, so got to be a little bit careful of that, but a 10/10 Terror of the Peaks on the battlefield is going to be pretty nice. Tumbleweed Rising, hey? Okay, surely this is lethal. They have 1 mana open. This can't really go wrong. We'll play the Railway Brawler here into a 10/10 Terror of the Peaks. Yeah, and then we can just follow up for lethal, I would think. So this becomes a 10-10. And then we've got a lethal Tumbleweed here. This card. Oh, it's so bad, but it's so good in certain situations. This is going to be a straight 20 damage to our opponent's face. And we still had attacks to go as well. Excellent. Alright then, on the play. Couple of forests, no mountain, but we do have a Loamspeaker. Potentially being able to cast a red spell from that, so we'll keep this. We have our 3 mana dorks in our hand. In testing, I was adding more and more, trying to outpace opponents' removal spells. We find a Thrillseeker. This is definitely not a Thrillseeker deck. I seem very good at drawing that card. Opponent with an underdog. I mean, I'm sure there is a Thrillseeker deck with the Railway Brawler out there somewhere. Maybe I will look to do that in the future. This is almost like a plan B, but I think what we can do here is, whilst my Loamspeaker is on the battlefield, we'll just plot the Brawler. Now, if they kill my Loamspeaker, at least we have a Gwenna for next turn. But I like getting the Brawler plotted, leaving it over there. Pillage the bog for our opponent. Wonder if they're looking for a land drop here. Who knows, as they get in there with their underdog. Fair enough, as we find a mountain. This is what I like to see. So Brawler into Anzrag would be a 16 power creature. And then we can Thrillseek to fling the Anzrag. So hopefully our creatures here survive. I am going to attack with Ruby. As a tapped creature, they might be less inclined to want to kill it. Hope they leave my Gwenna alone here. And it's another underdog for them. Would love to see a Cactus. 4 of in the deck. The deck was kind of trying to really push the Cactus build, but don't seem to be able to draw that card in this game. And a Forest, okay, a Karplusan Forest. So can we kill them at this particular turn? Well, Brawler into Anzrag, and we can continuously tap and untap this Gwenna as well, which is going to make a large creature. So I think we do have lethal here. We'll drop the Brawler here. And make sure we net some mana here with Gwenna. As it's going to untap that creature. It's also going to start putting it out of range of a underdog block, so this is pretty nice. Opponent is in the tank here, really thinking about this. They've been thinking for a long time. They must have something available up there for 1 mana. I wonder if they do have a cut down and they've realised that they've waited too long to take care of Gwenna. Or maybe they've disconnected, who knows. We'll drop our Anzrag here, which is going to be a 16 powered creature. And what we can do is now drop the Thrillseeker to put 2 more counters on it with its backup ability. And we can just throw the mole at our opponent's face. Yep, I mean, this is a very viable way of winning in this deck, it seems. So I interrupt the Tumbleweed Chaos as promised because the folks at Untapped.gg have kindly passed me some free monthly passes, premium passes to give out. I use Untapped.gg Premium to check all the stats for cards and decks and see what is trending or any hidden gems out there. Just from the data today, clicking the win rate for the last 7 days, you can see a lot of mono white here, but what is this? There is an Urabresk here, so you can see that someone's been having a decent record with that card, so that is mildly interesting, I would say. So to get your hands on one, I'm going to need you to head over to my Twitter X account. The link is in the description, but it is at Hexamin. Then find my tweet about this deck and drop Tumbleweed in the comments. Over the next few days, I'll randomly pick some names out and get back to you. Twitter and Discord is always the best place to connect with me, as is the comments below. But back to the Tumbleweeds. Alright then, on the draw. Okay, this hand is relatively okay. I don't mind to see this. Would love to drop a Cactus maybe in this game. But with a Tiny Bones joins up. Sure. Don't like having to discard a card, but we will do it. We will drop one of our mana dorks. We find another Hydra. Fair enough. Opponent with 2 swamps now, so probably got a removal spell open. So in that case, let's just drop a 1/1 Hydra. We can get in there. They don't have removal. But now if they want to take out this, we have a treasure we can use to ramp. Opponent with a Phyrexian Arena, okay. And we just find another land. Sure. I mean, I think they didn't have removal last turn, so let's drop the Loamspeaker. And although they are refilling their hand with cards here, we've got a pretty decent board state ourselves. Phyrexian Obliterator, okay, not a card we can attack into or actually destroy. We don't have any straight up removal in this deck. We have Terror of the Peaks and Thrillseekers. I've been experimenting recently with not playing removal in my decks and maxing out creatures. A lot of creatures do a lot more than just enter the battlefield and become a creature these days, and I feel removal, spot removal, maybe isn't so great against that, especially if your creature's already done something. So I'm actually experimenting with not playing so much removal and just jamming more creatures, seeing if this works. I saw someone mention this on Twitter, so just trying to see what I can do here. Plotting the Rising here because I know that with Terror and Goldvein Hydra is going to be a decent chunk of damage straight to our opponent's face, especially as we can't attack into this Obliterator. They are playing mono black, it looks like, so no fight spells for them. Preacher of the Schism to the battlefield. I wonder if they attack with their Obliterator here. Okay, Tiny Bones joins up, returns to the fray, but this time it's legend rules, although we have to discard a card, and I don't really want to, but let's get rid of this Boseiju. I think we're in a strongest position as we find a Karplusan Forest, which is nice. So against this opponent that's making us almost discard our hand, I probably just want to play out some spells here. We'll play our Terror of the Peaks. And yeah, I mean, we just got to hope to those magic gods out there that Terror of the Peaks survives. Now, they haven't shown us any removal thus far, so maybe this will. 6 mana for them. Okay, the Big Sheldred enters the battlefield, makes us sack a creature. I mean, we have the perfect creature here to sack in the Goldvein Hydra as we gain a treasure from that. This card is so valuable in so many different situations, and the fact it has haste as well is great against things like Lilianas and creatures like that. Okay, we've got a massive Hydra here into a massive Tumbleweed, so is this lethal? Let's find out. I'll make sure I do my math correctly here. I can do X equals 7 for a 7/7, and yeah, this is lethal, isn't it? Because we do 7 straight to the opponent's face and play our free Tumbleweed here. Another 7 straight to their face. And we can get in there with our Terror of the Peaks to take down a mono black deck with a Tumbleweed. On the play, and hey ho, the Cactusfolk Sureshot is in my opening hand. Welcome to the party. We have our Hydra, which is nice as well. We have a 2-drop in that card. I mean, I just love playing this Hydra early on. Opponents will almost always kill it. It will always die in combat, but we're getting a treasure out of it means we can play a Cactus Sureshot on turn 3 if we want to. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad. If they don't kill it this time, then I might be playing the Hydra as a 2/2. Legion Extruder is going to do 2 damage, and there he goes. Hydra takes 2 damage. We gain a treasure. And I mean, if we play the Sureshot now, we don't actually have a follow-up play for next turn. We'd be playing a Hydra as a 2/2. I think it's better to drop the Hydra here, actually. Just as a 2/2. We can smash, then next turn we can play Sureshot into Terror of the Peaks. I think that's the better play here. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Unless the opponent has a counter spell along the way. They are a Izzet deck, it looks like, and Diamond Pickaxe. Okay. Alright, well, finally get a chance here to drop my Cactus. We also have the Restless Ridgeline now as an attacker in the mana base, so we'll drop our 4/4. It itself doesn't get haste, but every 4-power creature now we cast is going to get haste, so that's why Terror is in the deck. You could definitely play more creatures with 4 power or more. I'm thinking of Dracosaurs, Atalis, etc. Urabras Forge. Okay, so they're definitely an artifact deck here, but we've got a nice, large, chunky attack this turn. Find another Sure Shot. I don't think we need a second copy, do we? I don't think so. We can double spell though with our Ruby into Terror at the peaks here. And attack the opponent for 11. And then next turn, Sure Shot will do another 4 damage. Yeah, I mean, this is a lot to ask for our opponent to deal with. We have our creature land as well, so even if they wipe the board, we should be good. In case of the Filched Falcon for them. So definitely an artifact deck. I'm not really sure what they have as like a win con or anything. They decide to not attack into the Hydra. It's just showing how good this Hydra is. And that is Anzrag, and that is going to be 8 damage to our opponent's face, and that is lethal. Alright then, on the draw, and the hand is exactly how I'd expect it to be. A couple of mana dorks here and some other spells, so not too bad. Opponent did mulligan there, and it is a jungle hollow tapped. So we find another Gwenna, okay, in multiples, and not so great. No 1-drop for us as well, and down comes a Deep Cavern Bat, not a card I really want to see. Dislike playing against this card, I love playing with this card. It's going to eat our Ruby there, and stops us having a 2-drop, although we draw a Loamspeaker off the top. So not too shabby in the end there. Next turn we'll definitely be going for a Gwenna. And it is Caustic Bronco for them, fair enough. Would be nice if they attack with their Bronco and they have a Mortality on the top. Shadow of Mortality on the top, and they take themselves a massive chunk of damage. Not sure if that's something they're going to do, but they probably won't want to attack into our Gwenna anyway. So, oh, they're hovering our card. Alright, it's cut down. Fair enough. They have a removal spell. And Bronco attacks, and it's just a forest, so they don't take any damage. And we find out Karplusan Forest. Alright, no more lands, please deck. We'll play our Gwenna though, and could play Tumbleweed Rising and make a 2-2, but that doesn't seem particularly great. So we'll tap our Loamspeaker here, and we can attack our opponent with our Rockfall Vale and do 3 damage. Pop them back down to 20. Okay. Really want some chunky threats. Need a Terror of the Peaks for us here. Would be fantastic. Or a Brawler first would be even better, especially with the Tumbleweed in our hand. Okay, opponent's been in the tank for a while here as they decide to shoot my Gwenna. Fair enough. And they attack. And it is a swamp off the top, so they don't take any damage for that. So far they've had a couple of removal spells to deal with our creatures. And yeah, Evolving Adaptive, and again, Rising not very good here, as it would just make a 1-1. We could make a 3-3 creature and then make a 3-3 Tumbleweed. I mean, that probably wouldn't be the world's worst play. But we'll go for Thrillseeker, make a 3-3 Adaptive, because we can fling the Thrillseeker here at the bat. Not as a sorcery, yeah, so we'll just wait on that one. And we also have a blocker for the Bronco. So hopefully they don't have any more removal spells. They've played a couple so far. Okay, opponent. It is a Shelly. Fair enough. Okay, so they're playing a very difficult deck for us to deal with here. Life gain, lots of ways for us to... very difficult for our creatures to attack into as well. But we'll take care of the bat here, and we get our Ruby back, and we just find a Boseiju. Not a card I particularly wanted to draw there. We have got 26 lands in the deck. I always start with 26 and work backwards, but currently I'm beaten with the deck, so I haven't been changing up anything to do, or any lands yet. But definitely could shave a few. Shave a few mana dorks maybe, bring in a couple of bigger threats. But won't change the deck until I feel I need to. Opponent with another Swamp and a Liliana. Fair enough. They could up Lily, because I mean we're nowhere near going to be killing that creature or that Planeswalker. I just make a second creature. Okay. Yeah, they could have upped Lily there. We don't have any cards in our hand to discard, but I guarantee you they would have ended up ultimating that Lily there. I mean, we would have needed, what, a Hydra off the top to take care of it, but they do follow up with a Preacher and attack with Sheoldred. This one is definitely not looking great. We didn't find a Terror of the Peaks. I think that's the card we need to help us here. We find a Brawler. So we can just play this and then massive 10-10 here. If we weren't on 7 life, it would have been better to plot the Brawler in case we drew like a Terror of the Peaks next turn, and then I think we might have been able to do 20 damage straight at our opponent's face. But we absolutely need to put our defenses up here, as Shelly is killing us turn by turn, and the opponent only has 1 card left though, so this maybe we've managed to stabilize. I would absolutely block their board here. Is that a removal in their hand? It's a Pillage the Bog. Okay, I mean, what a card to have in your deck with this much mana. They are a gamer. They can pretty much find any card they want in as they're looking at a quarter of their deck. Yep, and Gix's command takes care of our 10-10, makes Shelly a 6-7. So the cards never really fell our way in this game, and yeah, they might as well have just attacked with everybody here. Oh no, they've chosen to not attack with their Bronco and Preacher. Okay, well, we have to chump. They could have attacked. I think they could have attacked with everybody there. I haven't done the math, but we're so vulnerable to dying. We just wouldn't be able. We would have to chump, lose our creatures, play Ruby here, and I guess we don't really have an attack. So we wouldn't have drawn a Terror of the Peaks anyway had we plotted the Brawler instead of playing it. And they have a go for the throw. All right. We've been outplayed by the opponent's deck here. They've had far too much removal for us to deal with. And when they were out of cards, they managed to find a Pillage to block the Bog. It definitely is a problem with our deck that we just don't have ways to draw lots of cards. That's why I think the Dracosaur might be an option to put in this deck. We lose our creatures because I really need to get Shelly off the battlefield. And we find a Sokenzan. Alright, I mean, that doesn't kill us, so we have 2 1/1s. So we're hanging in there. If we can turn this around, I will eat my hat. Alright, Lily. Lily is making us sack our 1/1. And yeah, they jam with both creatures. I mean, we could chump, but what is the point? We might as well just leave one back. I can't see us doing anything by chumping there. In fact, I'm not sure how we're going to get out of this at all. Verdant Outrider for our opponent. And we find a Goldvein Hydra. And that is GG's, because unless the opponent blocks here with their Outrider, and I can't see them doing that. Yep, they didn't do that. They just need to attack us with all their creatures. We don't have any cards left. So yeah, first loss here up against a deck with a lot of removal. And they had an Opportunist. A Mythic? I thought that was an uncommon. Okay, opponent's been in the tank for quite a while here. Okay, I'm going to concede. They have lethal. I'm not sure what they were thinking about. They just needed to hit attack there. Alright then, on the play, and okay, I mean, we've got ramp for days, so let's hope we find one of our game-winning spells. Opponent with a Swamp. So we find another land, which is nice. But we'll drop our Loamspeaker here and pray to the magic gods that this one survives till our next turn. Which it does. Find another Terror of the Peaks. Okay, well, we'll keep casting our creatures. I'm not going to attack. Gonna make it look like maybe we've got a Snakeskin Veil or something open. Opponent with Preacher of the Schism. Evolving Adaptive for us. So that's in the deck because I really needed a 1-drop. and it's not the worst one drop in our deck. I think what we can do here is just go for a Goldvein Hydra. Let's do it for 5 mana. And I could attack, and I will attack. If opponent blocks, that is fine by me. We're going to gain 5 treasures out of this, so we're looking to really pop off next turn. And they lost their creature. Down comes Shelly. And we draw an Anzrag. Okay, well, the puzzle is, can we win with what we've got in our hands? I'm pretty sure we can. We'll cast our Terra. We'll untap our Gwenna. I mean, Gwenna and Terra and Anzrag is such a great combination. We'll play another Terra here. It's going to do 5 damage. Let's just clear Shelly, get the blocker out of the way so we can attack with Gwenna. And, I mean, we've just got lethal, haven't we? We'll play our Evolving Adaptive, so we can tap our Gwenna here, net us a mana. 2 damage to our opponent's face. Anzrag is going to do 16 damage straight to our opponent's face. I think. Yeah, they just scoop it up anyway. And we'll just attack with Gwenna for lethal there, so another great win for us. Alright then, on the draw. Seems a suitably adequate hand to keep, although it's slightly pricey. Opponent with a Dimir land. Okay. Well, let's play our Gorge and say go. Again, turn 2 Hydra next turn. Ah, well, opponent looks like they're holding open mana. I'm just going to pass the turn now. I want them to play a spell here so we can play Gwenna. Could have played the Hydra, but not too concerned. We'll play the adaptive here. I just didn't want my Hydra countered. With 3 steps ahead, a very popular card. I was looking at the stats on untap.gg. I think it's the 3rd most played card in Standard, best of 1 since Outlaws was released. Top 2 being Slickshot and Ruckus. But they were just in mono red deck, so it just goes to show that 3 steps ahead is a very playable card in a variety of decks. We'll drop our Gwenna though, and opponent with Roaming Throne, and they did play a Headless Rider, so is this a zombie deck? Looks like it is. I respect Roaming Throne. Definitely one of my favourite creatures. On Arena, I just love the card. I think it absolutely facilitates so many different opportunities with decks, with tribes, with all sorts of different strategies here. But Terror the Peaks into Anzrag, I mean, this is just going to be a huge attack when we get a chance to do it. And Gwenna allows us to actually do it right now. So that's going to be 8 damage to the opponent's face. I could clear the Rider if I wanted to, but we actually have an attack here with Gwenna. And I doubt they're going to double block. I would eat this Roaming Throne if they do. They could chump though with the Rider to not go down to 6 life. Especially as we have a Terror on the battlefield. And honestly, Anzrag next turn is going to be... I mean, surely we've got lethal. Surely next turn we've got a lethal attack. We'll see. They did make 2 2/2s though, which is a little bit frustrating. And they are hovering over my Terror of the Peaks. So what do I want next turn? I just want a big chunky creature here so that we can go straight to the opponent's face and potentially win with Anzrag. Okay, it's Otawara on the Terror. They're scared of my creature and I'm not surprised. Alright, so we could make the Anzrag have to be blocked. I think they would block it anyway. Let's do the math here a little bit. They would eat my Anzrag, which is slightly annoying. In the past, I've always played this card with any kind of spell that gives indestructible. But I chose just to go for creatures in this particular deck. Let's get Terror back onto the battlefield. Why can't we cast our Sokenzan? Okay, well, Gwenna isn't allowing us to cast that. It's not a creature, is it? So... I mean, that is the downside of Gwenna, but again, they're facing a large attack next turn with our Terror. And hopefully another creature onto the battlefield. We've also got Sokenzan to do another 2 damage to the opponent's face. And they don't really have any good attacks anyway. And Cactusfolk Sureshot is going to be lethal, I think. Four damage to our opponent's face. 2 damage with our Sokenzan tokens. Then we just attack them with Terror. Yeah, I mean, we got there in the end. I mean, that wasn't the cleanest end. I'm sure there was better ways to do that, but if the opponent's not running removal spells, Terror at the Peaks is way too strong. And yeah, we got there. We got there indeed. Okay, so let's check the stats for this deck over on untapped.gg, and as you can see today, our Cactus concoction here went 5-1, so I'm pretty happy with that, especially on the ladder. Didn't really have too many difficult matchups until the last one against the Golgari deck. I actually showed a 7th game in my video just because I wanted to show you one from testing that went pretty well, and in testing, this particular iteration of the deck actually also was unbeaten. I just didn't have that data recorded, so I'm very happy with this deck. Jumping into Arena to see how we got on as well, or to see what changes I would make. I mean, we went for the meme play with the Rising. If I was to make another version of this deck and wanted to go less on the meme, I would definitely probably take out the Tumbleweeds, even though I felt they did all right. Maybe go up another Thrillseeker, down a Loamspeaker, shave 2 lands. And then suddenly we have 55 cards in our deck. I wanted to add the Raptors halfway through these games. I felt like as a 4-mana 5/3, they would gain haste with the Sureshots, but also they can ramp us into some larger creatures. So I think adding those is fine. And then we have 3 more slots. I put either the Dracosaur, the Calamities, or T-Rexes, but I wouldn't hold it against you if you wanted to drop a Tyvar's stand. Oh, that just left the building there. So let's go for another Dracosaur. I don't really want to play the T-Rexes. I've played them a lot over my time. I think Dracosaur is a good way to net some card advantage, and then Tyvar's stand would be another card I would drop into this deck. So version number 2 would be this, which is leaning more in on the Thrillseeker, because that card in this deck was absolutely beautiful. So to check out the stats for this video and all the decks that I play, you can go and find those over on untapped.gg, which is what I used to track the data for my stats and what other decks are being played by other users. You can even find a deck or two that you might be able to make with your collection. It is all over there on untapped.gg, and like I said, all my links are in the description. But thank you for watching this video, supporting the channel as we grow, and I will catch you again in the next video.